to Cherie's world.
So I have a real treat for you guys today. I am kind of going to let you in on one of my friendships. His name is Mr. Farrah Gray. He is known as one of the most influential Black men in America. He is one of the top 5 best-selling Black authors in the world. He is a celebrity entrepreneur, and he's also a fashion designer. He happens to have the best heart and the most gorgeous smile of anybody you will ever see.
This is Cherie's World.
Question. Are you tired of unsanitary work facilities like restrooms, break rooms, maybe even sitting at your desk with your allergies flaring up because the dust all around you is so thick you can write your name in it? Well, look no more. The answers to all your needs is here. We here at Special Care Janitorial have been servicing the Dallas Metroplex for over 11 years with a list of satisfied clients, small family-owned businesses, and large corporations. We stand on giving the type cleaning your mother would approve of. If you're seeking the cleaning with care, visit our website today at www.specialcarejanitorial.com or reach out to one of our consultants at 469-772-0164. And always remember, you're special because we care.
Welcome to Cherie's world.
All right, Cherie, before Farrah Gray calls in, just want to get your opinion on a few hot topics, a couple trending topics that's been happening. And also, let's start with what be going on in your Instagram inbox, like when people be sliding your DMs.
No, my inbox is not really popping. I mean, I do get some attention, so I'm not over here like Aisha Curry. Y'all don't need to hit me up in my inbox to be good. But my inbox is full of people who want to commit suicide. And for some reason, they reach out to me. It scares the shit out of me. I'm not trained.
Right.
And I'm not politically correct.
Right.
So depending upon how I'm feeling at that time, I really have to watch what's going to come out of my mouth because I don't want somebody else's life in my hands. And I opened up my inbox today and there was a young man who just life wasn't going right, but I was trying to explain to him that there's always a better choice and everybody has bad days. And if we live upon, today, I promise you tomorrow might not be better, but in a couple weeks, if you fight, it will.
You know what? This is real tough for me. I think I might have told you about this. My wife's cousin committed suicide, and she lived in L.A. And then we talked to her mother, and she said that they had to push back the funeral because they had like an overload of people killing themselves in L.A.
Somebody just killed herself in L.A. today. Going in your inbox sometimes is like getting raped because once you see stuff, you can't unsee it. And you don't necessarily know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
There was a young man who's 30 years old. He climbed up on top of a crane over top of the subway and just let himself drop. So as I'm sitting there waiting to see what I'm going to watch, I just watched a young man lose his life.
Wait, they sent that to you?
They sent it in my inbox, and I didn't know what I was watching. I guess they're saying it's like the new thing all over YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Extremely heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because maybe one 10-minute conversation with him could have changed everything.
Right. And you know what? Like, it's just about me growing up because when we first started the other podcast, oh, man, I feel like shit even telling you this story, but now, when I first started at General Motors, I was 19. I worked around a bunch of grown-ups, like a bunch of old-ass men. And I didn't never work in a factory like this before. So I was doing something, and the boss said, "You got to be the dumbest cocksucker I ever met. Why don't you just kill yourself and start over?" So it was just like, at the time I was pissed off. But then after a while, I just said, you know what, I'm going to make it a segment. I ended up making it a segment for our show. Then next thing you know, people just started killing themselves.
Oh my
So
God.
I started feeling guilty about it. And I said, I'm not going to use that no more. Everybody else still likes it. I'm just like, then my, a cousin of ours killed himself. It was just, I didn't know it was like a big thing like that. Cause like, what era I grew up in. We roasted each other. We made fun of each other. Nothing was serious like that.
No, it was like, we talked to each other like that. I feel guilty right now. Like I told one of my exes, nigga, kill yourself and kick rocks.
See?
He's still one of my best friends. He wasn't going to kill himself.
Right.
But
just a different era. So I don't know. I don't know how to react to that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I grew up in an era where, like I said, I'm not politically correct. I try to work on being politically correct. I am a huge supporter of the LBG, whatever it is,
right.
That they call it now, movement. I support my gay brothers and sisters like you don't even believe, but I grew up in an era where calling somebody those names wasn't derogatory, or
right.
they weren't calling them gay by saying those words.
Right.
But now it's a big deal. My little brother's gay, and I'm very proud of him. Mm-hmm. And people been calling me gay since I was in elementary school.
For real?
And I've neither confirmed or denied. I like the females in my inbox just as I like the men in my inbox. Same.
Well, I tell you what, I wanted to ask you. Well, I wanted to ask you something else though that I saw, and I don't know if I'll save it for somebody else, save it for the other girl if she calls in. But it's a story, and I know you want to talk about the abortion stuff as well. Yeah. But it's a story. Oh man, hold on. Here we go. This is a story. It's Marlena Ochoa Lopez was promised a stroller and baby clothes. And you heard about this?
That's that little girl. They took the baby out of her stomach.
Oh, so you heard about this. See, I just heard this happened in Chicago.
Yes. Heartbroken.
So, now, at first, when I first heard it, because I didn't read the article, I was like, well, it's probably one of those mental people, mental health issues. So, but then I found out it was 3 people together that came up with this idea to do this.
Yeah.
And I just sitting back like, okay, so nobody said this ain't a good idea. That's the part I didn't understand.
I just don't understand, did they want the baby or was the baby a sacrifice? Because I couldn't get through the story because I was heartbroken. They promised her clothes and a baby stroller and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, young mothers sometimes don't have a lot of money.
You said sacrifice? What you mean by sacrifice?
Like a human sacrifice. Did they sacrifice her and her child? What was the purpose for cutting the baby out of its womb? Did they want a baby to raise? Was it human trafficking? Or was she a sacrifice of the lamb? Like, what was the motive of?
Damn, see, I didn't even think about all that. I was thinking that, because I've heard of issues where a woman has said she was pregnant and she really wasn't. So because actually from what I read, she actually called the police and said that she delivered the baby or something like that. So she made it. I think she was trying to keep the baby. So that's why I said it sounded like some crazy shit. But then I didn't know that it was 2 other people with her. So I'm thinking to myself, like, how 3 people get together and think to do something like that? That's the part that really messed me up.
Wasn't it 2 women and 1 man?
Wow. See, I didn't know that part.
There used to be a time where you would think, oh, women wouldn't do anything like that. Women have no empathy nowadays. There's no empathetic, that mother syndrome or whatever. Everybody ain't got it.
Yeah, I did a question like that to a group of guys, and I said, true, false, or in, fathers have gotten better over time and mothers have gotten worse. And everybody like, yeah, I think you got true. I think you think
that's true.
I didn't know of a time, because like I got buddies whose moms just funny to pursue Hollywood. They had kids and like, I don't want to be a mother no more. And they actually dropped the kids off with the dad and like, and was gone for like 16 years.
I can't even imagine.
I couldn't imagine either.
Having kids made me run from Hollywood. My biggest thing is I didn't want my kids raised in that environment.
Yeah. I had never heard of that either, like of women doing that. And I know that sounds sexist, like, but I just never seen women do stuff like that. I always thought, like, look at women as like, like mothers. I just can't see how somebody can carry. I know that, let's get to the abortion question.
Yeah.
What do you think about that in Alabama? I want to read you a couple memes that I saw.
I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting that anybody feels like they have the right to tell somebody else what to do with their body.
Right.
Men do not have uteruses. You don't know what it's like to have to carry a child. I almost died trying to get mine here. Okay. And I was given the choice. Right. Are you sure you want to do this? Or are you okay with being on bed rest for 7 months, dealing with heart meds and contractions for 7 months?
Right.
Nobody can tell somebody what's best for them. If you're going to tell somebody that they cannot have an abortion, you also need to tell them that their baby will have health care, their baby will have a loving family to raise them, that their baby will not grow up and be homeless or hungry.
Right.
So I think that all comes hand in hand. Pro-life, great. Just because I'm pro-choice doesn't mean I'm not pro-life.
Right.
Let's take care of some of the Black kids that are already here. Do you know how many Black children do not get adopted and do not have homes?
Right.
We can't even give our kids free lunches in school no more. They just fired a lady for giving a kid a free lunch.
Yeah, I heard about that. This is where I stand on it. And I agree totally with you on that. Like, I don't think that men should have any say. When I found out, it was like, what was it, like 14 men that made that decision?
Yes.
See, I don't think that men should have anything to do with that. The reason why is, when my wife was pregnant with my first child, my daughter, this is gonna sound crazy. I didn't know any of this stuff. So she said, I think I'm spotting you. I know you know what that means. I didn't know what that meant. So this was like a month into it. So we went to the ER because I didn't know what that meant. And I saw the heart just going like this. It was like a month in. I was like, oh, wow. But the fact, so I knew that was life right there, but still the fact that I didn't know nothing of what the doctors was talking about lets me know that men, and I know there's other men just like me who's stupid, just like me, we shouldn't be making decisions about any of that because we don't know. We don't know and understand. Just like you, my wife went through all that stuff and I didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't be making none of those decisions at all. I don't think we should make any of those decisions, have any say on that.
Thank you.
We don't know.
Thank you. Men don't know. And so listen, they say men don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. Men do have a choice. You might not have a choice, but you have an option.
Right.
Many men don't stay there. How come we have so many fatherless children?
Right.
They say, well, you can put him on child support. That don't mean you're going to get no money. One of my homegirls actually gets $4.30 a month.
Damn.
What is that $4.30 going to do?
I'd rather get nothing.
Right. That's what she said. She said she feels like it's a direct slap in the face.
I want to read you something, though, that, all right. So I'm going to just tell you the whole thing. So 2 years ago, I started a He Too movement as a spoof on our podcast. And I didn't realize people take everything serious. So this listener didn't realize it was a spoof, but this is what he sent me. He said, hey, CB, can you add the women of Alabama to the He Too movement? This is on Instagram. He sent me a message. I said, explain your theory. So he said, to put it simply, under any circumstances, a man impregnates a woman, whether sober, drugged, or intoxicated, knowingly or unknowingly. If she chooses to have that baby, you are now a father and will take care of that baby financially. Now, the same system that will throw the father in jail if he didn't meet his obligations, aka man up, the same system is now telling these women, if you get pregnant, you can't and get an abortion. If you do, they will get locked up. So he says, I've been asking females how they feel about the ban to see how they feel about, but I explained how men have been subjected to this for years and they get quiet. What you think about that statement?
First of all, I'm not going to get quiet. If a man doesn't want to have a baby, have a vasectomy. Use birth control. Put a condom on. Nobody is setting you up. I hear men all the time, oh, she got me. She set me up. No, nigga, you set yourself up the second you stuck your rod in her. And I'm sorry to be blatantly honest. You know you did it. I know you did it. I don't understand how it's the same. Now, he chose to do that, right? Sometimes men lie. They start with the condom on. Condoms disappear.
Uh-huh.
What happens to the woman who the condom disappears? She went into it thinking she was protected. She went into it thinking, he got my back, but he nutted in her anyway. Right. Or they both had a mistake and the condom breaks.
True.
And she thinks, well, it's not that weak. It's not possible. So I don't need to go get the morning after pill because there's only supposed to be a certain window when you're fertile. She doesn't go get her morning after pill. And then guess what?
What? That's
She's
it.
2.5, 3 months pregnant before she knows it. And she don't even know where old Johnny is.
Yeah. And that's why I said men shouldn't be making, because like you said, you telling me. What you think about this meme I saw on D.O. Hughley's social media? He said, breaking news. Women don't like the government forcing them to be mothers. They only want government to force men to be fathers.
You know what? I think that there's something that should happen. When people get pregnant, I think there should be paperwork that's done.
Okay.
And men that don't want to be fathers can say, I am signing over my parental rights. The problem is men don't sign over their parental rights. They just don't want to pay for it. They want to come and go as they please. But if they would sit down when a kid was born and handle their business as men and say, I don't want to have anything to do with this kid. You decided to have this baby. It's on you. Let me sign away my parental rights. If you sign away your parental rights, I can't come after you for child support.
Really?
Really?
I didn't know that. I thought I didn't know that at all.
How do you think it happens when women get married to a man, right? And then the man wants to adopt the child?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
The man wants to adopt the child. You are no longer financially responsible because some other man done adopted your child.
That is true. Yeah.
And I don't know if it works like that in every state.
No, you're right. It does.
But I'm sure there's a legal loophole where if you sign over your parental rights, you don't have to pay child support. But that doesn't mean you can come. What men do is they get pissed off. They got to pay a little $350 a month, right?
Right.
And then so they don't want nothing to do with their child for 3 years. And then they want to bring a birthday present. You want to buy a $20 birthday present at Target and show up like, Daddy loves you. That's not love, Daddy.
Right.
Because this baby had to eat. This baby needed health care. This baby needed formula, Pampers, clothes, and shelter.
True.
And Daddy want to show up every 3 years and take a birthday present and be Daddy of the year. That's not how this world works.
What you think about this other meme I saw? How did abortions get banned faster than assault rifles?
That's real.
Yeah.
But we really need, you want me to get really real?
Yeah.
Let's talk about terrorists.
Yeah.
The biggest terrorist that ever happened in the United States happens to be the white man. Why we don't ban them? Why they don't need extra certain papers to be here? Because they come over here every day and there's no problem.
Right.
There's no immigration problem with them. The only immigration problem is people who are brown.
True.
Even Asian people aren't having an immigration issue.
Right.
If you're Hispanic or Black, yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah.
It's a problem. But every wife that Trump done had ain't got no problem being here.
Yeah, that's a whole nother box of worms right there.
And
And
that's
now
box of worms.
and you said that you actually been to what's it called, Mar-a-Lago?
Not only have I been to Mar-a-Lago, but a film that I did called 75, we had a party at Mar-a-Lago to celebrate us going to the West Palm Beach Film Festival.
What is Mar-a-Lago? Because I don't even know what it is. Is that his house or is that his
Mar-a-Lago was a home that was bought for his ex-wife, and it's half named after her, Marla Maples, Mar-a-Lago.
So is it? You said it's a house?
It's a beautiful house. Yeah.
Wow. And him and his current wife go there now, right?
Yeah.
And his ex-wife is not there no more?
No. Marla's
okay.
not there. Marla lives in California.
Oh, okay. So it was just named after her. Oh, okay.
It's named after her because that's who it was purchased for when they were together, where he was trying to get her. Speaking of his wife now, even she ain't from here.
Yeah, right. She just
And
got
her parents is trying to get partnered or whatever.
Yeah. It was the chain. Her parents is part of that chain migration.
You see the look on my face? Talk about immigration. What about all these babies that have been chained up in these cages and they're being raped? Let's talk about this. A lot of these little kids are being raped, right? What happens if one of those little immigrant girls get pregnant by one of these officers? They're not allowed to have an abortion, so who's going to take care of these babies?
Wow.
Because the United States says that they're not responsible for their rapes. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
The United States says they're not responsible for them being raped while they're in the custody of the United States.
Because they weren't supposed to be here in their eyes.
Right.
Charlemagne the God said this morning on the Breakfast Club, he said this abortion law was put together because by 2045, the white population will be the minority. So if you ban abortions, that means white women who get the most abortions, it'll stop depopulation. That's what he said.
It'll help multiply themselves. And that's the thinking of the people who live in Alabama, who also come 50th in the nation when it comes to education.
Right.
Okay. But yes, they are terrified because brown will no longer be the minority in this country. Yeah. But the thing that's crazy is brown people have never had the same hearts that white people have. By far, we're way more empathetic.
Yeah.
So just because they made us slaves, I don't know a black person alive who would own a white slave, honestly.
This is Cherie's World.
A natural detox can improve everybody's overall health. If you are suffering from obesity, high blood pressure, lupus, diabetes, fibromyalgia, diverticulitis, or if you need to improve your heart health, a natural detoxification can help you. Are you interested in some anti-aging or some Alzheimer's prevention? Hit us up at www.teamcherryj.com.
Welcome to Cherie's World.
Mr. Farrah Gray, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's so, yeah. One of the biggest things, and you started the interview off with us just having a conversation. You were like congratulating me and encouraging me. I noticed every interview you did, you always gave props to other people. Do you feel like gratitude is a window of abundance?
I do. Here's why. I'm actually a fan of excellence and success. And a lot of people believe, especially if they've reached any level of success, they think it's always about them. And that we're so special. We're told we're special. We're told. I mean, the opportunities when people know who you are, all the way from restaurants being closed to opening up the kitchen for you to the chief of police meeting you at the airport and giving you a police escort like you're a fucking Barack Obama. So it's quite interesting that, people allowed to go to their head, and I don't, because I don't believe that I'm special. I believe that we were called to do special things. Many are called, few are chosen. And, as far as the compliments for you, it is true. It's truly a fact that, like I said, you've represented, so well, Black people. And that's the key thing. As I would say to us, listen, don't act a goddamn fool, because one Black person somewhere can embarrass Black folks everywhere. Unfortunately, that's what they'll highlight. I mean, they will literally, you're not headline news until you fuck up.
That's so true. That is so true.
It's like you didn't talk about none of this. You didn't talk about any of the positive things I've done. Let me be looking crazy. Let me have some false allegations. All of a sudden, bam, I'm headline news. Shit, I didn't know I was that important. But it's always important to exploit, and this is, of course, controversial when I look at the R. Kelly and Bill Cosby situation, and I have no sympathy for them whatsoever, especially R. Kelly, growing up in Chicago,
Right.
I heard these horror stories. And if he is in fact as wrong as I believe in my heart that he is, I've been hearing these stories way before they hit the headlines, then let's go after everybody. And again, it's important to have the same energy.
Absolutely.
However, living in Vegas, everybody wants to praise Elvis Presley. Where's the accountability for Harvey Weinstein, Woody Allen? I mean, the list goes on and on. But what I've always said to brothers, and I had this experience when I spoke at the Potter's house, T.D. Jakes' church, and he said to me something very profound but simple. He said, this was after I spoke, he said, here's my phone number. He said, thank you for coming to speak. He said, and I want to be there for you. And I'm listening like, he said, and I know that sounds strange. He said, because again, every book, every coaching seminar, everything's about, you becoming successful, but nobody tells you about what happens once you become successful.
Yes.
How it can damage, destroy one's being, and how to remain successful. So one of the things that I think is so crucial is not allowing, like I said, yourself to think that you are, that you have white privilege. And I look at politicians and entertainers, and they'll do things. We're not held by the same standard. They're going to throw the book at us.
Yes.
Straight up. So when you know that you are a target and there's an invisible target on your back, and I always say that we may not be at war, but we're definitely in a war. You may not be fighting, but you're in war.
Absolutely. When I was looking and researching you last night, I was like, you know what? Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to put in the work. And then I asked you, what was your favorite book that you wrote? And you told me Reallionaire, which I purchased on Amazon, and I'm waiting for it to be delivered to me on Monday. What is your definition of Reallionaire?
It's somebody who was rich from the inside out. Growing up, I just wanted to be rich, and I thought that whether I was watching The Cosby Show or whether I was watching Family Matters, I wanted to live in a home. And a lot of people don't understand this concept. They say, okay, you must have grown up with money because of who your father was. Well, my father was a black activist and revolutionary, so he never had any money. Known all over the world, he believed in putting in the work. In fact, some days I don't even think he liked money. I was like, Dad, we need to eat, right? Did you forget that part? So my mom left my father because of his overdrive and I would say primary focus on the freedom and independence of our people. And we've seen it with the family members of most revolutionaries. They suffer. I would never see my father. If I did, it maybe 1 or 2 times a year when he was at a speaking engagement. So when my mom had left him, she was working overtime, double time, triple time. And she had 2 back-to-back heart attacks. So to me, it was all about, okay, we could just make some money. We can make some money. But then I started getting confused and realizing that the money was all right, but the problem I had was the fact that people with money and success were getting pulled over for DUIs. They were jumping out windows. They were just really on a self-sabotage mission. So I'm like, wait a minute. So money is not going to cure everything. Money is not happiness. And I realized that, what they had built in their outer world with money and popularity is more than what they had built themselves to be in their outer world. And they had a lopsided success. So for me, success has always been about being rich from the inside out. When you visit third world countries, they don't have money, but they have love. A lot of them have happiness. They have family. They have health. And we have it so twisted. So to me, it's about really having, of course, the inner wealth, which I believe that many times can result in the outer wealth as well. So that's what a millionaire is.
I love
Somebody who's rich from the inside out.
You are the perfect combination of your parents. Your mother was extremely hardworking and your father was dedicated and passionate. I don't know if you realize it, but you've definitely got your hardworking thing from your mom, but you were still doing your father's work. You're just doing it at a different level. And I think if somebody would have tweaked your daddy's mindset, I know he's so proud of you right now.
Well, what I'm so thankful for, honestly, is the fact, and I thank you for that. And I always ask my son Bailey, I'm like, did Dad smile in the day?
Oh, yes.
But he got a chance to see at least a couple years before he passed. He died when I was 16. And it was quite interesting because I hadn't seen him like all year. And I called him and I was like, look. He was like, uh-oh. I said, you get ready to get one of my lectures. I said, listen, you can't be out here saving the world and you ain't seen your own son in forever. I said, look, where you at? You in Atlanta? All right, I'm coming. I'm going to be there for a whole month. I'm going to set up. I'm going to get work done. And he was like, okay, all right, sounds good. I said, so, yeah. So anyway, I was able to cook his birthday dinner, his last birthday dinner for him. Got him his cake and some gifts and all of that good stuff. So I got to spend a whole month with him. But when he before he died, he said, you know, son, you're a man now. And I said, really? He didn't know that I had actually, which has nothing to do with manhood at all, not even a little bit. But the funny part of that story was I actually lost my virginity at his house, unbeknownst to him. When he was gone that same week, I'm like, oh shit, what does he know? I was dating this young lady. She's about 5 or 6 years older than me. So anyway, make a long story short, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, Daddy, he never told him. You know, what do you mean? But a much deeper meaning, because he used to always talk about a spiritual rites of passage. You know, the Jewish community, they have, of course, their bar mitzvahs, and they deal with manhood training. And I think that's so important for Black men to be fathers, not just fathers to your own children, but I have a lot of young brothers that if they call me, it's like, what do you need? What can I do? You know, I created a scholarship foundation for those who are voted least likely to succeed.
Wow.
As well as young sisters as well. You know, that actually my attention is split, because what I found was a lot of my schools and programs were so geared to young Black men, and there weren't enough images outside of the ratchetness that they were seeing, because Black youth only grow up to be what they can see.
That's so true.
And what the system puts out there is billions. I mean, there's literally a multi-trillion-dollar industry as it relates to keeping our people deaf, dumb, and blind. And the challenge I have with that is that it's big business for them. And we don't understand it. Once we stand up, once we reject the status quo, our people will truly have, freedom and independence. And some would say, well, what does that mean? Well, I look at even the gangsters, we claim blocks and streets that we don't even own.
That's so true.
You know, it's Section 8 half the time. You know, the businesses in our community are not owned by us. Our community gets poorer and poorer, and other people's communities get richer and richer. So, you know, I think that it's very deep, and I thank you for that compliment. And a lot of people sometimes don't see the fact that, like Paul Robeson said, you know, the battlefield is everywhere. So whether you are a writer who loves your people, actor, actress, love with your people, attorney, social worker, whatever you do, entertainer, regardless, you have to have a passion. And loving your people, we're taught that in society, as soon as we start talking about our own, because last time I checked, tigers take care of tigers, dogs take care of dogs, cats take care of cats. But when it comes to us, as soon as we have any love for each other, we are anti-this. And I tell people all the time, I don't have time to be anti-anything. I have too much work to do at home with my people to be anti-anybody. I'm not even worried about what they're doing.
Beautiful. And I love that you never care. Whatever your platform is, you don't care. You speak from your heart. You speak what you believe in, and you don't waver. And I appreciate that. Like, you don't, the Hilton or the Marriott might feel some way about me speaking to my people. It doesn't change who you are.
And that's what bothers me about, and that's why a lot of politicians and the couple that are actually running for president on the Democratic team, and so particularly some of the Republican side as well, a lot of them have had their people reach out to me and they're like, oh, who are you going to endorse? I'm like, look, unless I see an agenda, especially with the Black politicians, I don't want to hear shit about voting for anybody that doesn't have a black agenda. If you don't want to exercise the government agencies, if you don't want to discuss reparations, if you don't want to fix our community, one of the other businesses that I own a lot of property in the hood because I believe that we have to buy the block back. And the majority of the people I've been buying properties from, again, don't look like us. And they're slumlords versus landlords.
Absolutely.
And I encourage our people, and I also offer in-house financing. I don't want to just collect rent money from you. I have an opportunity where they can actually end up buying the property from me after they paid so much by way of rent, through land contracts, lease-to-own type situation. So, no, I believe that, so many of us have voted for politicians that didn't have, a black agenda, and so many of us are so. My dad and I actually used to talk about this. He would say, son, the interesting thing, and this is with different celebrities and key people, he was saying that there's so much pressure when you decide to embrace a certain person, figure, ideology, or even listen to someone that they don't approve of, or you start to speak up on behalf of your people, all of a sudden it hits you where it hurts financially. You lose your deals, you lose your opportunities. Hollywood won't call you back. They don't want to give you this part, that part. However, again, and I've seen you preach this as well, that we need to start becoming producers as well.
Absolutely. That way you don't have to wait on anybody else to hire you.
That's right. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Okay. So I also read that you're semi-retired. Is that true?
I am. Yeah. I started so early. I think that people retire too late in life. That it's important to retire as early as possible. So I'm semi-retired, but yeah, I enjoy the semi-retired life.
Now, semi-retired,
just because I properly invested my money.
I was gonna say you're semi-retired with like 7 businesses, though.
But the key is they're all ran by other people.
I love it. So, what are your retirement plans?
More philanthropy, more giving back. As they say, you never will find a Brinks truck following a hearse. You can't take it with you. So, I'm not leaving it to a cat or a dog. I want to improve some lives while I'm still alive and while I can. So that's basically my main thrust. And I think that comes from having so many siblings. I didn't really know what mine was. And I believe to whom much is given, much is required. It's important for us to, share gifts, resources. And that has been, maybe I might be wrong, maybe I give too much, but I don't think I would be right. And you have some people who don't give at all, still monetarily successful. And I think that's the difference. Most people look at success as, of course, monetarily, what you have. However, I think it's our health. I think it's our peace of mind. I think that it's being able to go to bed at night knowing, or even when we ultimately, make our transition, being able to say that I've made a contribution to society. I would say we should all be ashamed to die unless we've made a contribution to society. Are we willing to leave this world better off than where we left it? Where we found it, for that matter. So I think that that's so important to give back, and a lot of people just don't see it that way. So my main focus in my retired is just enjoying life, living my best life, and through that is also being a catalyst and a resource for others.
I love that.
And I had one journalist ask me, "Isn't that like just a cop out for people who have money?" I said, "Well." I said, well, if the rest of the world would cop out like I'm copping out, I think the world would be a better place. So why don't we all cop out and get back? Let's try that and see how that goes. See how that improves the world. So people always have some bullshit to say. And, and like I say, going back to you, it's extremely impressive that you have not lost yourself. You've been famous your entire life, and legendary fame at that. So one of these days, I might have to, switch over to recording and start interviewing you.
Silly.
Which I plan on possibly doing on live one day.
I would love to do that with you. But it's silly because in the end of the day, what really is fame? Fame is given to be taken away, and it's just a word. It's so silly. I read that so I learned something about reading about you last night, that you believe that people invest in people first and the idea secondly. I know once people find out you have money, they come to you with everything. So can you explain to people the theory of what a good investor would be looking for and how you have to believe in the person before you believe in their idea?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I believe that there's no idea dumb enough that you can't get at least 1 million people to buy it and buy into. So the idea is as relevant as the person to make it happen. In the world of venture capital, which I come from, we believe that you have to have a grade A team. It's the team that's the engine. They're the ones that can make anything happen as it relates to turning an idea into a bona fide money-making business. So most investors want to know who intelligentsia-wise is behind the concept. So what I always encourage people to do that don't have a lot of money or don't have investors, so if you have a great idea, the best thing to do is to approach individuals that are all-stars in particular field, that have an expertise, and ask them would they, it's really considered a placeholder. Can you utilize their resume, their bio, your business plan? And you work out an agreement that if you are able to secure financing, would they come on board and fill that position at their desired salary compensation package? That way, when you walk in and you have credentials from individuals that can make literally anything work, then ultimately investors feel more confident, because a lot of great ideas don't go anywhere. Why? Because they don't have the right team behind them. When you look at whether we like him or not, it was Trump's business acumen. It was Mark Zuckerberg, and I don't like Trump at all. The alarming thing is I don't know who can beat him, which is another subject for another time right now, because he has fueled such hatred and encouraged such. I think he's awakened the KKK mentality.
Absolutely.
The alt-right mentality, to the point where it kind of hurts that I don't see anyone on the left that's really too many people. I see one or two. I take that back. I see at least maybe two that are running that will meet him where he needs to be met. And that was one of the things a lot of people say about my father. They're like, oh, man, Trump wouldn't be that loud if your father was still around. I say, yeah, but, they have a way of taking you out quickly. And, of course, my father died of quote-unquote mysterious circumstances, but we already know what that's about.
Absolutely.
They will take you out immediately. So I think there are other ways to address and to challenge what we see today. I think that overall, as it relates to, whether it be politics, like we talked about with the Black agenda, we talked about with being, pro-Black, I'm just really excited and looking towards and for somebody who's really going to have, our best interests at heart. And that's going to be quite interesting to see. Have you seen anybody others yet?
No, I keep flip-flopping in my mind. I'm looking at two people. I'm waiting to see what comes out of their mouth. It's going to be a real interesting next 6 months, I think.
Yeah, and it's so early, too, so we got time.
I hope so. You talk so much about how you believe in yourself. So you obviously believe in the power of manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Did you study The Secret? Was the whole theory introduced to you by somebody? How did you learn manifestation so early?
It was. I was in the room listening to whether it be Malcolm X or Reverend Ike out in New York. So that's all that was pretty much discussed, was regardless of his circumstances, regardless of what you don't have, regardless of what you see, that as Paul said, that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So, and Einstein said your imagination is a preview of life's coming attraction. So I think that it's very important to embrace the fact that a lot of times we get caught up in, well, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, or I have no idea, or I'm not qualified enough, or but people don't understand that God will use you regardless of your resume. He's not looking at your credentials.
Absolutely.
So therefore, if there is something that you and your heart desires to make happen, it's possible. I would say it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't know what you can't do yet. That means you can't tell yourself, I can't do this, or I don't think I'll be able to do that. It's just like a child. I mean, they have a limitless imagination. I don't know. I don't know how old I was until I finally given up on being able to fly one day. Jumping off the couch, with a sheet, like, damn, that didn't work. Let me try it this way. So again, I think that we lose our child spirit too early, and that's what hurts us in life and in success. We allow the negative noise of society to basically, push us, and then we figure out, I can't because of what? Never allow anyone, as one of the greats of our time once said, never allow anyone's perception of you to become your reality.
Would you like to advertise on Cherie's World and have your product placed on Cherie's social media for the world to see? Email us now at cherriesworldpodcast@gmail.com for low introductory rates. Cherie's World Podcast. Get heard.
So, you know what? It's so weird. Everyone that I've spoke to who is fairly successful, everybody has manifested their life, including myself. I never thought I couldn't. I was told that I couldn't, but I thought they were lying to me. I thought they were lying to me. I was like, you don't know me. You don't know what I possess inside myself.
Right.
But that is the common denominator between all successful people, is they believed in themselves and they manifested their reality. I have one.
I tell myself, I'd be like, don't let me down.
Right.
Don't play me. Don't play me. I've been good to you. Don't play me.
I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
What is something that nobody ever asked you about your journey or yourself that you wish that they would?
That's a very good question. Unfortunately, I have been asked pretty much everything under the sun. Questions I have not wanted to answer. But one thing I like to focus on more or less is that life really is a do-it-for-yourself project. That for a long time I thought that somebody would help when I was growing up, or even my dad used to tell me, you keep staying focused, stay focused, and one of these successful blah 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 black entrepreneurs will take you under their wing. And I spent a lot of time in the back of my mind thinking that a lot of the false promises, a lot of the, and we talked about earlier, Hollywood talk. So I think that my advice has always been is, again, like we just said, to believe in yourself. That if it's going to happen, it will only happen at the hands of your own effort. And also, I think one thing we actually didn't touch on that I wanted to share is the importance of how to use social media as a tool. What I'm seeing is a lot of, in this whole digital economy and world that we live in, it's really cut into our creativity and our concentration, because now, and it's caused so many people to become very depressed, they're now spending so much time focused on, or comparing for that matter, their real life to someone's highlight. And social media, I see people, they can't even be where they are, meaning they've got to have their phone out, they're recording, they're showing. I mean, literally, social media has become the executive producer of our lives.
Yes.
And we don't know who we are anymore. So sometimes I think it is important to, for me, when I pick up my phone, I'm either inspiring or taking care of business. Every now and then I might find myself getting lost because, you go on there, you're looking at this and looking at that. But it's very rare. Either I'm inspiring or taking care of business. And I think that we've gotten so caught up in the like. Before we wanted the person in front of us to like us, but now we want the world to like us. We need that attention, and attention is the new currency. More people want to get paid attention than they do actually as it relates to getting paid these days. So that would be more of a warning. That I haven't gotten a chance to talk about much is the damage that social media has done at the hands of the fact that social media is a machine. It's not really built for people. It's an algorithm. It's a system. There's no personal touch. It's all about us being content providers and being, staying rather hungry and starving for attention. So, how the old saying goes, R.I.P., rest in peace, for everybody dying for attention.
Yes.
And I've even seen with your social media, I don't even think you posted it, because sometimes I have to go to your page, like, what? She's helping people lose weight, she's inspiring, where is something? All right, let me go like this.
Yeah.
And I can always tell when someone's a giver when you look at their page.
I don't have a lot of selfies. I take pictures. Everybody always says, where's the picture of you? I'm like, I don't really do that anymore. Like, I have pictures of my daughter, but I'm not sitting around taking selfies of myself. That's kind of weird.
It is, and it feels. And I only do it that there are people looking for it.
Yeah. They do look for it. And lately, like, people always say, why don't you comb your hair or put on makeup? And I say, because that's not who I am. You guys got used to a character. This is not a character social media page. This is my social media page. So you asked for a selfie. I gave you one of what I really look like. And people are stuck. Thank you so much.
Even Cardi B, we love her because of the fact that she's real. You are literally in the world versus her commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. But Cardi's she's a little bit too real for me. She's a lot wilder than I could ever imagine being. She's real. That's who she is. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you're busy, and for you to give me your whole morning really means a lot to me. Not just professionally for the interview, but personally, because I love you and you don't even know it.
Well, I love you too, and I look forward to meeting you one day, face to face. And let's connect very soon. And thank you for interviewing me and allowing me a platform, in an avenue and potential genre and readers that wouldn't even know anything about me. So thank you for allowing me to spread my economic evangelism further.
The floor is yours, love.
All right, thank you. Before we started recording, you had said that you asked a few people, well, is this guy a fashion designer? Well, prophetically, you are correct now. I actually am a fashion designer.
Love it.
And so you must have seen it before I saw it, right?
Love it. I'm telling you, baby, you and those jackets. I'm an East Coast girl. I'm from Pittsburgh, so I believe in coats and jackets and blazers, and you be killing them blazers.
Thank you. So the new line is called Farrah Gray Couture, and truly excited, made history. Just did and again, this was a very bold, strong statement that I wanted to make, especially in light of the blatant disrespect as relates to Gucci, to the Black community, and still their lack of sensitivity and the BS statement that they mentioned diversity throughout, but didn't even mention, I didn't see it, maybe I need to read it again, but I didn't see them address the African American community or our wounds directly. It was those buzzwords, and diversity being one of them. I love what an associate of mine, who was she sponsored a show I was a part of for many years, Melody Hobson, through the Aerial Capital Management Fund, who was also George Lucas's wife. But she actually spearheaded, which I was more impressed with what she did as it relates to her outreach with Starbucks and the Black community by making them shut down all of their stores and making them train the staff on race relations, sensitivity, how to approach the Black community, how to respect our dollars. Because who we give our dollars to is who we give our power to, as one of the great of our time once said. So we don't realize that, being really what I call one of the top 20 richest nations in the world would really be us when we look at our buying power of over $1 trillion. So I wanted to communicate the importance. When you look at the Asian community, their dollar stays in their community for 30 days. When you look at the Jewish community, the dollar stays in their community for 20 days, whites in general by 17, and us 6 hours. So therefore, I wanted to make a bold statement that we do luxury well. So I just did a $10 million, 460-carat diamond jewel jacket, which is available on Rodeo Drive, which also made history. It's one and within a series. So I actually became the first African-American to have a line bearing their name on Rodeo. So I wanted to step into fashion, and we've got a little bit of everything. We have over about a collection, probably about 40 pieces, dropping within the next few weeks. And this is actually the first interview I've done to talk about that. So it's called Farrah Gray Couture, and people can visit, Farrah Gray everywhere to see it on all social platforms.
So this is major. We actually do a men's fashion review because it's a lifestyle magazine, but it started as a men's lifestyle magazine. Who do I need to get in touch with so I can get some pictures and we do a whole fashion spread, a whole fashion review on your line?
Awesome. I would love that. What I'll do is I will have either Rhonda or Chanel send you, just shoot me the email address and I'll make sure they get all the pictures and send it over.
Oh my, I'm like seriously freaking out because that was going to be my next hunt, baby, looking for, I wanted a Black designer that I could do a whole preview of their summer and fall and winter collections.
I will make sure to get it all to you.
Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Welcome to Cherie's world.